Okay, imagine this. A company, right? Less than 10 years ago, basically unknown. And then, bam, global dominance. Completely changes how we all watch stuff online, generates these numbers that are just mind-boggling. Sounds like fiction, almost, but it's very real.
It really is. That kind of speed is something else.
So today, in this deep dive, we're pulling back the curtain on ByteDance. You probably know them as the parent company of TikTok, but this isn't just about, one viral app. It's a huge case study for the 21st century global economy. It gives us a real window into how cutting-edge tech can just explode, and then it has to deal with all these really complex, sometimes really turbulent challenges.
Exactly. It's the intersection that's fascinating.
So our mission here is to kind of unpack that rapid rise, look at their unique corporate strategy, and maybe most importantly, try to understand how they navigate that tricky space where technology meets, well, geopolitics. We're drawing on insights from a piece called ByteDance's Rise: Innovation Amidst Geopolitical Volatility. It gives a pretty fascinating look at how technology, society, and regulation all interact in this digital age we're in.
A very tangled web these days.
Definitely. So let's start at the beginning. How did this whole thing kick off? ByteDance was founded back in 2012. Zheng Yiming, an engineer and entrepreneur based in Beijing. And just think about that time frame. Less than a decade. They didn't just grow, they shot straight to the top of the global tech world, right up there with the giants. I mean, what does that tell you about tech today? That scale can happen that fast.
Yeah, it really shows how the old rules of business growth have been completely upended. And what's really key here, the foundation of ByteDance's incredible success. It isn't just a catchy idea. It's built on these incredibly strong, you could almost say revolutionary algorithmic foundations. Right from the get-go, they made personalized recommendation the absolute core, the cornerstone of everything they built.
Unlike, say, connecting people you already know.
Exactly. Many others started with social graphs, right? Friend networks. ByteDance built its whole universe around discovering content first, powered by algorithms that learn what you like. Sometimes, even before you consciously realize it yourself. It's not just a feature. It's this deep, sophisticated tech driving everything, making things feel super relevant, almost addictive for every single user.
And TikTok is kind of the poster child for that, isn't it? How did they manage to turn that complex tech into something with such massive, universal appeal?
TikTok is the perfect example, yeah. It shows ByteDance's almost, well, uncanny ability to fuse that advanced data-heavy tech with, what's happening in popular culture. We're talking, what, over 1 billion monthly active users now? Worldwide.
1 billion. That's staggering.
The scale, the cultural footprint, it's truly remarkable. It didn't just ride trends. The way it's built actually lets it generate and amplify new ones incredibly fast, like a super efficient cultural feedback machine.
And when you talk about scale, the money side is just as eye-watering. 2020 alone, they generated something like $37 billion in revenue.
$37 billion.
Yeah, and get this, that actually put them ahead of big Chinese players like Tencent in some key areas. And the valuation just soared, around $400 billion in its last funding rounds. What do numbers like that really mean beyond just, being rich?
Well, that level of market confidence, that revenue, it's exactly why understanding the complexities underneath is so crucial. Because, the figures are staggering, but to really get the full picture of their success model, you have to look past the surface. You have to see the huge challenges they're navigating every single day. It's never just a smooth ride at that level, especially when you're so deeply woven into the global digital fabric.
Which brings us right to maybe one of the most interesting parts of the ByteDance story, how they handle the rising geopolitical heat. I mean, navigating the whole Sino-American rivalry thing, that's a minefield for any global company today, especially one with so much cultural sway.
It really highlights how vulnerable global operations can be when geopolitics gets tense. A really stark example was the temporary ban of TikTok in India back in 2020. That happened right after border clashes between China and India. It just showed very clearly how geopolitical events, even ones that seem localized, can slam the brakes on a global company's operations, like overnight.
Wow,
It was a huge, immediate lesson in corporate vulnerability for them.
So facing a hit like that, I mean, losing India, that's a massive market. How did ByteDance actually respond? Did they just pull back, or did they have a strategic move?
What's really interesting is their resilience, their strategic agility. They didn't just retreat, they pivoted hard. They doubled down on strengthening their presence in other growing markets, things Southeast Asia, Latin America, and they diversified their platforms. big time.
Okay.
So expanding things like Douyin, that's their huge short video app inside China. Basically, TikTok's twin and Jinri Tuxiao, their AI news platform, it shows real flexibility,
Yeah.
adaptability when faced with these massive external shocks. They weren't caught flat-footed because they hadn't put all their eggs in one basket. Super crucial for their continued growth.
Okay, let's maybe shift gears slightly and talk about the tech itself,
Yeah.
the engine room.
Mhm.
Right, because that's what's really powering all this growth and adaptation.
Yeah, absolutely. If geopolitics is the stormy sea, then their unique innovation model, driven relentlessly by AI and big data, that's the powerful engine getting them through it. Their core strength, technologically speaking, is this incredible ability to synthesize just massive amounts of diverse user data.
Like what kind of data?
Oh, everything. How fast you scroll, what videos you rewatch, the sentiment and comments, even, subtle things like facial expressions in videos people upload. But it's not just about collecting it. It's using it constantly to refine the products. And here's the key part, to anticipate trends before they even really break the surface.
Anticipate them. How?
There's Lizzie Chen, an economics professor at Peking University. He calls it a mastery of the feedback loop. It lets ByteDance spot these emerging trends, these little signals, with a precision and speed that often leaves competitors playing catch-up.
And you can draw a straight line from that mastery of the feedback loop, right, to TikTok's crazy success, right? That anticipatory skill, that almost predictive sense that had to be a huge factor in how TikTok went viral.
Without a doubt, their system doesn't just follow trends. It spots these tiny nascent signals.
Yeah.
Maybe a certain song starting to get used more, a specific editing style popping up, a new meme format, and then it rapidly amplifies those signals to the audiences most likely to respond. It's almost like it creates the conditions for trends to explode, perfectly hitting the interests of Gen Z and Gen Alpha in a way that felt, completely organic and tailor-made for them.
That ability not just to follow culture, but to actually shape it through algorithms, that's a pretty big deal.
It's a massive differentiator. It let them achieve that network effect, that virality that very few platforms have ever matched, all by understanding and, predicting user behavior at a really granular level.
But, okay, with that kind of explosive growth globally comes the other side of the coin, the ethical stuff, the security responsibilities, user data management, for instance. That's become a huge point of criticism, especially in the U.S., right? TikTok's under intense scrutiny over alleged ties to the Chinese government.
Yeah. The concerns are serious. Potential data security risks, censorship worries, even the possibility of influence campaigns. These are major considerations for users, regulators, and national security folks.
So how are they dealing with that pressure?
Well, ByteDance has been making some pretty significant proactive moves to try and ease those concerns, including thinking about really drastic steps like completely separating its international operations from its Chinese ones. You see that with things like Project Texas is for TikTok in the U.S. The whole idea is to wall off American user data and operations from the parent company in China.
Right, Project Texas.
And connecting that to the bigger picture, some experts are actually suggesting that this kind of move, or even just seriously considering it, might become sort of blueprint, a model for how global companies might have to operate in a world that's getting more fragmented, more shaped by protectionism and these geopolitical splits. It's like a live test case for operating in a potentially more balkanized digital future.
So let's pull back even further then. Beyond just the business side, the data issues. What's the larger impact? ByteDance's effect on culture, on economic transformation? Are they just another tech giant, or is it something more?
Bobby McDermott, a market analyst at Gartner, he put it really well. He said, ByteDance isn't just an app builder. It's a culture facilitator, changing how content is consumed and monetized.
A culture facilitator, I like that.
And that ability, that capacity to actually redefine the digital industry, it's not just a business success story. It really speaks volumes about the transformative power tech companies can have on society itself. They're not just making tools. They're fundamentally shaping behaviors, how people express creativity, economic opportunities, all on a global scale. Think about independent creators building whole careers on TikTok, or how music hits blow up now. Their influence is just undeniable.
So when you step back and look at it all, ByteDance's incredible rise on the world stage, it really feels like a modern parable, doesn't it? Entrepreneurial success in this really winding, complex, almost fractal world we live in now, where challenges pop up everywhere, repeating these patterns of uncertainty.
It really embodies this amazing ability to use innovative strategies right in the middle of an increasingly fragmented, uncertain global picture. They've shown this incredible capacity to adapt, to innovate, to navigate stuff that would probably sink most other companies. It really
Yeah.
does feel like a new kind of playbook for global tech.
Which I guess leaves us and you listening with a pretty profound question to mull over. What does the whole ByteDance story really tell us about this ongoing, tangled conversation between technology, society, and regulation in our digital age? And maybe even more critically, how are companies going to have to keep adapting, keep evolving in a world where the rules seem to be constantly changing, forcing them to innovate not just their products, but their whole business model, their global strategy? It's fascinating.